Eddie and I spoke about this before the show. Where do you sit around watching your team with a replay or highlights off the back of a loss, and a significant loss too, like a grand final? So I said to him, when Collingwood, as a Collingwood supporter, when they've won premierships, you'll go back. Sometimes I'll have it on the backgrounds from 2023 just cause, having it on. But he said, well, would you watch a losing grand final? And I said, no, but I'd watch the first 5 goals of the 2018 grand final and then turn it off. So it's sort of one of those things. It's hard, but it means something.
What you could have done is watch the first probably 15 minutes of 28 and probably the first 5 or 6 minutes of the fourth quarter when it looked like you were home, and then from then as a Pies fan you turn it off. I actually personally think that people who support a sports team and their team lost a grand final and they watch it are psychopaths. Like, I just don't understand why you would do it to yourself. Again, you've lived through the emotional heartache. We wear a heart on our sleeves, and legitimately, sport ruins people's weeks, and in some aspects, months. If you go to a grand final, the Brisbane fans, and they're rejoicing now, if a Brisbane fan told me that they are watching the 2023 grand final again, I would automatically unfollow them on Instagram. Like, I'm just like, I understand you can do it. Now, Dean Cox is a different situation, right? One, he gets paid a bucket load of cash to make sure this team doesn't fall at the last hurdle again in 2025. But he's also like, I know he's heavily involved. He can just sit there and just blame John Longmire for the. Well, so when he's watching it, it's not his fault.
It's not his loss.
Yeah, it's not his loss.
Go down on his record. If he makes the grand final this upcoming season and loses, he's 0-1.
Yeah, 0-1.
He's not 0-2. So for him, it's a bit of a free hit.
I would like to see his notebook when he's sitting there and he's like, geez, Longmire stuffed this match up, didn't he, earlier? Like, he's just writing stuff around. I know he's tongue in cheek, but I think when you're getting paid to do it like Big Cox is doing it, absolutely. I'm not passionate about any team in world sport outside of the Western Bulldogs who I grew up supporting. So the 97 prelim was on Adelaide v the Dogs, which was heartbreaking for Bulldogs fans when they had it done. That was actually on Fox Footy in prelim week, and I happened to walk past the TV it was on, so I turned it off. I just don't know why a losing fan would go back. The only reason you would go back to watch it is if you were somehow on the telecast or something. So, like, if you took it to goal in the second quarter and the cameras went to the crowd and you're there carrying like a Muppet, as we've all done, maybe you'll fast forward to like the 9th minute of the second quarter, but I just don't understand why a fan will watch their team lose a grand final.
No, I agree. And I'm all for that as well, because I'm all for like watching a goal or watching a period of play or a quarter where you actually hit the front or you made a bit of a comeback and you might have lost the game. Prime example, and I want to talk about it in our buying and selling a little bit later on with Adam Simpson's comments this week about the media, but I'm a huge Liverpool fan. I do live and die off the back of Liverpool winning and losing during the week, and I will consume different media on the back of what that looks like. I will watch a goal or two from Mohamed Salah, who puts Liverpool in front, but knowing that there's going to be a draw or a loss, I won't continue to watch any more of it. So I can pick highlights.
Which is what Instagram's good for, right? Because you can always lean on a good moment.
You can live in that moment.
What I will say, the only time actually that I think a losing fan would go back and open up a recording is if they're having a bet or they're having an argument about an umpiring decision, really. And they can say, well, hang on, the umpire cost us and the other person's like, that's crap, rah, rah. And then you go back and you pinpoint the moment and you explain why the umpires cost you the grand final. That's the only time. It has to be something that you believe in.
I don't even think that's right, because I think in an AFL grand final, if you feel like you've been hard done by, in your mind that decision's been made up, you're not going to go back and look and go, hang on a minute, maybe I was too emotional.
I would say there's a lot of Collingwood fans who go back and watch where the boundary umpire was in a certain grand final many generations ago and explained that it was in the fourth row. But you're right. I think it's ridiculous if fans go back and watch a losing grand final.
But if there was another angle of that and the ball was actually in, I don't think as a Collingwood fan you'd actually accept that vision.
You know what angle that is?
If you don't angle. Mate, if you don't believe we land on the moon, you're not going to accept any evidence that we actually did. So,
you know what I came across recently, actually? I do digress. I accidentally on Instagram came across a different angle of the bad bounce for Stephen Milne in the 2010 grand final. Now, the traditional TV broadcast angle looks like Milne could have got it. But the angle from behind the goals quite clearly shows that he was sort of nowhere near the ball, because he sort of half pulls up and he was like, He could have got it.
Stop, yeah.
Yeah, and it does look a little awkward, but the other angle actually shows he was no chance near it. So there you go. You talk about finding a new angle. Someone found it, and I was able to stick up for Milne in that pub argument.